pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the County Board of Supervisors meeting, November 15th, 2022. Is there any changes to the agenda?
I have none.
Okay. We will meet with department heads and elected officials. Sarah Doty, payroll clerk, auditor's office.
Good morning. Just busy doing payroll. Cheryl and Chandra and I are heading to Des Moines tomorrow for TIP training, so we'll be up there. But other than that, nothing to report.
You and Cheryl and who?
Chandra.
Chandra, okay.
Yep.
Good. Have a safe travel.
Well, thank you.
Slow down.
Yeah.
You're interested in my opinions on that, they're widely available.
Colin Gurr, IT department.
Good morning. Nothing new to report, just keep busy like always.
Busy, huh?
Always something going.
We understand that. Thanks, Colin. Sheriff Glendenny.
Hi, good morning. Had our first light snow this morning, and I hate to dare superstition, but we haven't had any accidents in the county yet. Yes, there you go. Usually we have plenty of those on our first little snow and have slick spots out there, but we've everybody's driving safe this morning, so we appreciate that. The jail's at 93. 23 are out of county. We're bringing 2 back this morning, so we'll have that down to 21. It's just a situation of we have a lot more male inmates than female inmates, so we've kind of been moving some pods around and just rearranging them to be as efficient as we can to keep as many here as we can. So, but we'll keep working on that, and hopefully we'll see that continue downwards to a more manageable level. That's all I've got.
Okay, thanks, Sheriff. Terry Johnson, County Auditor.
Good morning. Yeah, we have an emergency recount to add another one. I'll tell you, I was hoping I'd just be able to slide on through and have a smooth election, and if it happened, it happened, and I've had to do things that I've never had to do before with these administrative recounts. I guess I'll explain that administrative recount when you get to that, so.
Okay,
But other than that,
well.
only so many days left.
We feel for you. Thank you. Jared Lassiter, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning.
Just keeping busy as usual. We got a minor subdivision that just got submitted. I gave you a copy of that a little bit ago. Apart from that, we have a work session today, and then the public hearing on the airport amendment. So apart from that, nothing really noteworthy unless you have anything else.
No, that's everything I was gonna say.
Zach, don't have anything to add to it?
Nope.
Okay,
Jared, take care of it.
okay. Well, we thank you both then.
Yeah.
Chris Lake, Conservation.
Oh, well, I guess this weather's gonna put a damper on our burning plans. But other than that, just kind of moving into winter mode, I suppose. And we still had, as of yesterday, 4 campers up at Big Hollow. But that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Ken Hines, Seal Region, Mental Health.
Good morning. We had our SEAL meetings last week, and we did our regular business. There was some talk about there's going to be several legislators that'll be new, so telling about the mental health issues would be important. So we're kind of working on creating a Google Doc to start working on things to tell the new legislators. So that's one thing that was talked about. We're talking about changing our SEAL website and maybe adding some QR codes to it. So like if a police officer needs a special code for crisis services, they could just scan that with their phone and get right to the website of where those services are and stuff like that. So that's all being discussed with our website developer, and otherwise a lot of regular business.
Okay, thank you. Natalie Stepner, Recorder's Office.
Good morning. Just keeping busy. Nothing new to report.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carter, Secretary of Roads.
Good morning.
We did end up sending trucks out this morning, and it just depending on where you're at. It did start to slush up and got a little slick in a few places, but it was just isolated, so being as we didn't know where and if it was gonna keep going and stuff like that, so the trucks were out this morning, earlier than normal, I guess. It's probably a good first run. You always find a split hydraulic hose or something like that early on, so we'll get some of the kinks out of the way, and won't be a whole lot done other than just making sure. And I think by now, actually, as things have warmed up, I think it's probably just fine. But just a little early run of snow.
You snow pretty uniform through the county, or some places get
A
more?
little lighter to the north, up towards the Minneapolis area. It was probably more like an inch or maybe an inch and a half accumulated, but Burlington, obviously, I'd say it was 2 or 3 inches this morning from what I could see. So, yeah, a little heavier as you went south. That was an early snow, I think, compared to what everybody would expect. Other than that, we closed on applications, so we'll be doing a couple interviews maybe later this week and try to get our final position filled coming up. I do have a work session, but if I know we have a budget meeting, so if there's not enough time, I'll just throw my work session on a different meeting sometime. Yeah, other than that, just moving along. Kind of shifted gears today a little bit from some of our other projects. So, but the guys did have, obviously the forecast wasn't quite for this much, but we went ahead and had all the snow equipment on, so they were ready to go, which is pretty normal for them.
Good, thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Chris Fogel, Public Health.
Good morning. We're just keeping busy, nothing new to report.
Okay, thank you. Rodney Blazer, Maintenance.
Good morning, just business as usual, nothing new to report
Nothing
today.
to report. Okay. Angie Vaughn.
Good morning.
Safety.
Just business as usual, nothing new to report.
Well, that's good. That means everybody's in the county safe then.
Yes, I like hearing what Kevin had to say, so just a reminder, everyone, make sure you get yourself plenty of time to get where you need to go.
I just about forgot somebody over there in the corner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have-
You know, how's the trade?
We're busy, but I have nothing new to report. Do have an agenda item though.
Okay, thank you very much. Didn't miss anybody? We'll move on to correspondence. Either of you gentlemen have any correspondence?
I did not.
I had one on the property, but I don't have that, I don't have that satisfied yet, but it was the same one that we had on that property. That was it.
Was this supposed to be in correspondence or just laying under my?
It's for your work session, I believe.
Okay. Put that up here. Seeing no correspondence, we shall move on to discussion and vote. We move into public hearing on the proposed amendments to the airport to approve the regulations ordinance number 58.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carey.
Yes. Which one of you gentlemen want?
I can do this one. We did have a work session on this back at the end of September, when we're also doing a work session on the wind and solar ordinances. Well, you guys adopted this ordinance in February, and at that same time, we were working with the city of Burlington, going through the same process. And during one of their planning and zoning commission meetings, I don't remember who brought it up, but there was a mention of runway protection zones and why that was not included within their ordinance. And so we did some additional research on that and had some discussions with the airport, and that was something that it's an area really close to the runway that should be the most restrictive, and that's the one that actually was some of the issues that they had with some development and some issues with FAA in the past. So we did take the time and added that into the Burlington ordinance, and then they adopted that in October. And then in talking with the airport, they wanted to have us come back and work with you guys as well and make those amendments here too. It doesn't impact a lot in the county. I think it's 6 properties that impacts on the south runway there. But other than that, I think we highlighted the exact amendments. It adds a definition for runway protection zones. adds the establishments of the zones and actually gives like the specific criteria and the boundaries. They added those on the map as well, so you can see where they're located. And then it talks about some of the restrictions, which really it kind of limits you to ag and kind of public type uses. Otherwise, you have to talk with the FAA or the airport if you're doing something else. Above and beyond what's already there. What if you already have something in the zone, that's not an issue. And actually the airport, I mean, they're working to either try and purchase properties or air rights in these areas. They actually own one of the properties in the county in this area and have a first right of refusal on another property. And then, I don't know if they've talked to all the landowners, but I know they've talked to at least a couple other ones, so. We did send a public notice to all 6 of those property owners. I didn't get any phone calls back or emails from any of them. I don't think any of them are here, but, so we didn't get any feedback from them, but we did send it out, so. I don't know if you have any questions or comments for us, but.
Okay. Anybody listening or on YouTube with us there, you can call 319-753-8203, extension 4, or email board@dmcounty.com. We'll give you 2 minutes to respond to that. Does anybody here have anything to say about it?
I thought Zach and Jared did a good job explaining this. We've been through it at least once, I think maybe twice.
And it did get approved, City of Burlington, and then actually here in, it was October early, yeah, it must have been October also, City of West Burlington. We've been working with them, it doesn't impact them as much, but we did work with them and it got approved, the ordinance in West Burlington as well, so. Hopefully, this moves forward here, then I think everybody will have adopted it and I'll have the same language, so.
That's great. You guys do good work. You make Tom and Shane look good.
Doesn't take much.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I'm glad I didn't put myself in there.
You're much too kind.
Is anybody timing us here? I'm timing us.
Don't time this. You got like less than a minute left, Jimmy.
I've got about 15 seconds left.
Sounds good.
That's less than a minute.
It's snowing. I don't think we're gonna get a lot of calls today.
I hope you guys appreciate it.
We have one ready for.
Okay, the 2 minutes is up.
Yeah.
No, if not, I'll get one.
Need
I
motion
didn't
for
send it
that
to you,
closed
so I think we
session?
do have it.
Motion to close.
Second?
Or what closed session, just public hearing. Sorry about that. Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Move to approve first hearing for proposed amendment to airport approach regulations ordinance number 58.
Second?
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, she'll move on to payroll reimbursements claims. We have reimbursement claims in the amount of $713.07, and non-cashable is 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. We have accounts payable claims in the amount of $1,493,291.77.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Now we have, excuse me, a Class C liquor license permit for the Young Wedding, December 13th at Barn on the Ridge. Everything looks okay on this, Sheriff?
No concerns out there.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. Now we have personnel actions. We have one for the treasurer, one for local health, one for conservation, one for the county attorney. I have a letter here. It says, "Dear Board of Supervisors," it says, "Please accept this as my official notice of resignation. My last day with the Des Moines County Treasurer's Office will be November the 25th, 2022. I'm grateful for having the opportunity to work for the Des Moines County Treasurer's Office and serving the community for the last 15 years, and I offer my best wishes for its continued success. Sincerely, Ashley Sherwood." Upon that, she's resignation here. It's gonna be effective 11/25/22.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Sarah?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Jim, I will add, I want to thank her for her over 15 years of service. She's going to be missed as she's very knowledgeable and competent in motor vehicle laws, and that takes a lot of time to get that comfortable and know all those regulations and rules. And so we'll miss her.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. You know, that's-
Please pass along the board's thanks as well.
Is this Sonata or? how's this?
Sinitra.
Sinitra, okay. I'm real bad at pronunciation. Donaldson, I know that. This here is a new hire, part-time effective 11/9/22. She is a nurse, and the hourly rate is $25.27.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. This is for conservation, it's Tanner Gerhardt, Natural Resource Manager. It's a anniversary date, end of 6-month period. Previous rate, $40,489. New rate, $41,501.22.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. Next one is for County Attorney's Office, Elizabeth Friscaro. Anybody know how to pronounce that?
Frisicaro?
Huh?
Frisicaro?
Friscaro? Boy, I'm gonna have to take a lesson here. So receptionist for the county attorney. And it's, she's leaving effective 11/11/22.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. We have reports on file of the clerk's fees collected for October 2022. These will be on file in the auditor's office for your viewing at your own discretion. We do have the minutes for the regular meeting on November the 8th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. Okay, I need that second paper. Okay, we have the, getting ahead of myself here. And we have the, minutes for the special meeting on November the 10th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Now we have canvass for the 2022 general election. And this is packet in hand.
Yes, you have all of your reports that we have to file with the Secretary of State and everything, and that's the canvas as we have it. Yesterday, we had the special absentee board to go through. We received 3 more UCAVA ballots because they have up until noon, the day on Monday, for us to receive their ballots.
That's overseas.
Yes, overseas military and citizens. As long as they get it mailed before the election day, and we receive it before noon yesterday, they could be counted. And then we had, let's see, there was 3 of those, we added 10 more ballots to the count, so the other 7 were provisional ballots that they reviewed, and most of those were, they didn't go to the polls with their absentee ballot that they had requested. So they had to vote provisional until we could verify that we did not receive those ballots. So those were added to the count yesterday, and so that's what we have as of today, because the canvass still has to go on, even though we'll have a discussion after this, so.
Motion to approve the canvas as it stands.
Second.
And then, of course, next Tuesday, we'll have to swear in Natalie, because she was appointed to fill a vacancy, and they still consider that a vacancy, so she has to be sworn in 10 days after the canvass. So next Tuesday, we'll have a judge here to swear her in.
Don't be so excited about Natalie.
And then later on in the year, we'll decide when the rest of the county officials have their swearing in.
So she's a 2-time swearer.
You need to get a t-shirt that says that.
And you made a motion to accept the canvas?
I did.
As
As it stands.
Oh, okay. Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Can you sign these afterwards?
Yes, you can.
Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to J, we have a request for administrative recount of precinct 4, Union precinct 7, and precinct MYF in Mediapolis, Yarmouth, and
I
Yellow
could-
Springs and
Yeah.
and Franklin.
Yeah, Mediapolis, Yellow Spring, and Franklin. So I couldn't do just one administrative count for the first time ever, I have to do 2. So, and the reasoning behind this one is, because one precinct closed their voting equipment, because the courier was there, and they closed their voting equipment and forgot that they still had 2 people there voting. We always emphasize, wait till everybody votes, but the precincts were very busy on election day. We were constantly running out supplies and everything else. And she just knew the courier was there, that's what she needed to do, and she totally forgot about those 2 voters. The other ones, they actually, and this is another thing what we tell them, that if a voter puts their ballot in and they walk off and it spits it back out because they might have overvoted something, you have to force that in so that your count stays correct. They were so overloaded, or they were so busy that they weren't thinking, And so they just put it in their tally book. And so, and that's kind of, and the other precinct, I think they were having difficulty getting their ballot in. So when I talked to Wes, it's kind of like, do we add this to our absentee? Or, you know, how can we do this? And he goes, no, you have to ask for administrative count because those ballots have to be counted in that precinct. So there's 4 ballots that we're doing this request for, this administrative recount for, is because there's 4 ballots that we need to include in the count. So, and we've got that set up, so hopefully this afternoon.
So there's two in Mediapolis?
No,
There's
there
two
was
in-
2 in precinct 4,
Ah.
Union, 1 in Mediapolis, and 1 in precinct 7. So we have to run all those ballots through. We're gonna use the little minis again. We're gonna run all those ballots through and include those ballots that were not in the original count so that we can get those, everything accounted for.
When are you gonna count those?
Huh?
When are you gonna count those?
As soon as you guys approve that, we plan on starting at noon today. And then we'll have to decide when you guys wanna meet to do the recount canvas again. So, and tomorrow, Wednesday, we have our post-election audit for precinct 8, which is scheduled anyway.
That's tomorrow.
Yep, that's tomorrow. That starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. And they will be doing a recount, or not a recount, audit of over 1,000 ballots for that precinct. And then Thursday, the county attorney has this room for deposition, so this room is already called for. So whether,
How about Friday morning then?
I don't think that's Monday.
How about you, Kane?
For some reason, I'm thinking I got stuff, well, I know I've got stuff ready, I'm just not sure how.
and I don't know how long the post-election audit will take on Wednesday. Do you
It's-
still have early outs on Wednesdays?
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
it's possible we might be able to do it tomorrow afternoon at like 4 o'clock or something like that, if that works later in the day.
Is the audit, is that a hand count?
Yes, that one is a hand
That's a
count.
hand count, okay.
Yeah, because they verify that all of the count on, in that precinct on election day is the same as when they hand counted.
They're having that.
Forum in the morning.
Forum in the morning from 8 to 9, but any other time works for you guys on Friday.
Oh, on Friday, so if we hold it at
If that's-
10 o'clock,
Well, 10 or 11?
Would you, or Thursday, whichever, I can do either day, but Friday would have to be after 10 or after.
okay, we can do it on Friday morning at such your time, whatever
guys.
works for you
Right
guys.
after we get done.
You guys
we
got
get
that,
approved.
what,
Forum at
8 to 9 or something like that?
It's 8 to 9.
Because I couldn't make it for that.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll be out by 9, but it can't last much longer than that.
What do you want, scheduled for 10,
10 works for me.
10:30?
That works for me.
That works, because we'll put out we'll have to put out an agenda
Okay.
just for the campus, so that'll give us plenty of time for that too. Gotta love elections.
Terry, you're gonna remember your retirement?
I was, like I said, I was just hoping to, good election, just slide on out, but hey, gotta have excitement, I guess.
Is there any way you can blame that on the recorder's office or something?
Considering she was unopposed, I don't think so.
Nice try.
Nice try.
But no,
Well, you can blame it.
Yeah, so, you know, we just gotta make sure that every
Yeah.
ballot is counted, that should have been counted, so.
Yeah, that is being transparent, so that's
Mhm.
good.
Yes, it is.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. I don't have the paper out, the samples yet.
It's the same paperwork as what I had for the last one.
What's that?
Similar paperwork to the last one, so.
Yeah. Okay, is there any other business, gentlemen?
I have none.
We have I think we got all of our workstations outside of, county attorney wants to have a workstation on that opioid settlement, so you'll get that added when she does her thing.
Yeah, because I think we decided on in the emails, the date for that.
December 6th, I think is what,
What?
December 6th,
Yeah.
does that sound right?
December 6th, you
Yeah,
said?
fine with
because
me.
she said November did not work for her, so.
Okay, future agenda items, that's, we covered that. Committee reports.
I attended the Southeast Iowa Link Mental Health and Disability Services Regions Governance Board, and we approved the claims and reports, and we approved the annual report, which I think the state is wrestling now since they got rid of Fund 10, that they have to commingle apples and oranges and come up with a number. So, best of luck to everybody involved.
We had a Russ meeting. It went pretty simple. We still got problems in Ollie. It's kind of like what Mount Union used to be, so we're getting it taken care of. That's about all I've got.
What county is that in, Jefferson?
It's in Keokuk County. What the problem is getting into it, there's a property that's owned by, let's say you own this property, but I leased a property from you, but I built a house on it. And so they cut the sewer off, they wasn't paying their bills, so they can't cut the sewer off. They can't go back to them people, property owner, and when they cut it off, this guy goes out and digs it up and opens it back up. And this has happened about 3 times now, so. And it's kind of a bad situation, you know. So if you ever lease a property and want to build a house on it, I recommend not doing that. That's all I had.
I just had a lunch and learned people don't want to work. That's all I've got. Took me an hour to figure out that people don't want to work.
Okay, time for public input. We'll give the public 2 minutes to call in with any concerns at 319-753-8203 extension 4 or email board@dmcounty.com. We'll give you 2 minutes. Change the timekeeper. Anybody have anything to say here? Yes,
That's something before I forget about it. I did come here on behalf of the Capitol Theater and Tammy McCoy, and then we've got a fundraising person with Convergent Nonprofits that made a request to the board, I don't know, a month or so ago.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put it out there, remind you that we've made that request, and we've got some grants coming up in December and January, one of them where
you need to
we have to have a county contribution if we wanna apply for something, so just a reminder.
Fine with me, you wanna put it on, whatever you guys think in the next week or two, that's.
Yeah. We, let's put that on. Let's do it for next week.
I second it.
That work for you, Shane?
Works for me.
And that way you know.
Thank you. I'd offer some public input on behalf of my wife, who's in the wedding business. She had a bride and groom that showed up this weekend, they're out of state, and they showed up at the courthouse to get their wedding license on Friday, Veterans Day, and it was closed. They were quite disappointed, but our county auditor, or county recorder, Natalie, was willing to come in on her time off, and I know that was certainly appreciated. She came down and got the wedding license and delivered it to them, and that's certainly above and beyond, and they greatly appreciated it.
Much work.
That deserves a
job.
call.
Yeah.
They were very happy to have a legal wedding, so.
Considering they're out of state.
Yes.
Natalie was
Happy to
saving
help.
lives. Somebody's gonna die that weekend.
Well, she may have created some.
What's that?
She may have created some.
It's possible.
Good job, Natalie. Time's up.
Shane said time's up, so with an aye, we're out of here.
Aye.
Aye.
Terry.
we on? We're here with Jack Zames and Jared Lassiter with Southeast Iowa
Did I hear that right?
Regional
Okay.
Planning for wind and solar ordinance.
Yep.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jackson, you do have trouble with names today. You call me Jack Zames.
No, I said Zach. I didn't call you Jack.
That's a stripper name.
Used to be Golden Diamond back in the 70s. But anyways, let's get on
All
with
right,
the
it's
place.
time to
You got a
move on.
gavel,
Wait-
man.
wait-
You got a gavel.
Throw it at Zach.
Throw it? Oh, you're supposed to throw it or pound it.
Just guys, you guys are
Just
on
pound
point today. All right, we've got a quick work session here on wind and solar. We met back at the end of September. Jared and I have done some additional research, had a couple conversations. We've had at least one phone call with a colleague of ours in Lynn County who's been through adopting an ordinance and been through 3 solar farm projects. So he gave us some good kind of insight on things to think about and be aware of. And then Jared's put a lot of work into coming up with drafts for each of these. And so we're gonna give you a copy today, and then we're also gonna, over the next couple weeks here, we're gonna get one to the county attorney's office, one to Brian.
Send out a digital copy by
And
email
then
as
probably the auditor's office, maybe the assessor, Chris Lee, just so other people get a chance to look at it. And we're gonna regroup too with some of our colleagues that we've been talking to. And there was that gentleman too, when we had the first work session, what was his name again?
Mike Carberry.
Mike Carberry, who was pretty knowledgeable on this. So we're gonna send one to him too, to get some feedback. And then, I don't know, December, January, hopefully after we kind of hear back from everybody, we'll kind of take what we've got here for a draft, and then we'll come back for a longer, probably more detailed one. But in the meantime, I guess we'll give you a chance to look at it and then give us some either things you got questions about or things you're not sure about or specific comments.
When you looking for comments?
I don't know, maybe, I don't think we put a specific date, but
I think it's up to you.
Now, remind me, you weren't
Early
talking-
December, maybe?
No, you weren't talking next week.
no, but maybe like 3 weeks or so, I don't know.
That's fine.
Maybe
You're
4.
here, you can ask us, but anyway.
Early to mid-December.
I was just checking that this was on.
You need
the-
to
the
read it
schedule.
tonight or
Yeah.
over Thanksgiving.
Whenever you need it to be.
Yeah, I guess it's really up to you guys how fast you want it. But I mean, I think from the timeline we were talking about, if we get early mid-December, I think we're kind of sticking pretty close to where we wanted to be to come back, so.
So we're just gonna come back with our highlighted stuff that we have questions on.
Yeah, if
or
you
an
have
issue
questions
with,
or specific comments, and then we'll kind of take everything, then we'll probably come back with a presentation where we either explain some of the things that people have questions about, or we'll maybe make changes based on that and get into it a little more detailed.
Do you,
But if, I can give Jared a few minutes here just to give you a quick overview of kind of the main sections and what's in. They're both structured the same way, but did you have a specific question?
no, I was gonna ask if you wanted, emails back to make things quicker.
And
I'm
we
not
can
sure what the.
we can send you email copies.
Yeah, we were planning on doing that.
No, I just meant, what we had issues with individually, you know, or whatever, but
Yeah,
anyways.
you
that's-
can email us, yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
But if you just wanna do real quick, just like the section, the different sections that are the same
Want a
in each
paper
one.
copy, Brian?
Sure. Thank you.
I'll send you an email version too. So they're both similar, just have some background on the general provisions that you get from pretty much any ordinance, just to highlighting the jurisdiction of what's covered and not, and definitions. Obviously, that's going to be important to for some of those setback regulations and things like that. We've got to define what certain terms related to wind and solar farms and how those are defined in the context of this ordinance. There's a set of minimum siting standards, distance from homes, other properties, things of that nature that apply to both. In some cases, they're a little bit different, just given the nature of turbines that are tall but spread out versus a solar farm, which panels cover a large physical contiguous area. And so that's the minimum siting standards. Then the permitting or review procedure, what needs to be submitted with an application when one of these farms is being proposed, the kinds of information that they need to include, what the actual approval process looks like when it comes to the board, public hearings. And then a couple of, there's one section that's specific to the construction process, and we discussed before the notification of property owners and officials prior to the construction process. Obviously, sometimes these take a while to come to fruition. And then 2 chapters specific to a couple of priorities that we previously discussed, the issue of mitigation of damages, mainly related to roads, but also the decommissioning process, what to do to plan ahead to ensure that once one of these reaches the end of its useful life, that there are procedures in play that ensure that the developer takes care of all that without additional expense for the county. And that's pretty much it. There was, for wind energy, there's the one at the end about the Met towers that's specific to wind energy. Other than that, what?
Was there something too that was different at the end of the solar?
Well, no, it's within there. There's some stuff in there about soil health and plantings during the life of a solar farm, where the land underlying the panels, which was brought up with the colleague we were talking to, that was something that they had prioritized that seemed to make sense here as well.
Yeah, they're both really structured the same. I actually just got done reviewing them myself, so we're gonna meet probably later this week to go through some of the things that I saw as I went through it. And then, like I said, you guys have a copy. Brian's got a copy. We're gonna email it out to a couple other county folks and then to some other colleagues to look at. And then, like I said, hopefully, early to mid-December, if you wanna get any questions or comments back to us, and then we'll try to either address your questions at another work session or make changes based on, some of the things you highlighted. And then at that time, that'll be a longer, more
Yeah.
more thorough and more boring work session, but.
Dumb question probably, and Lisa, the county attorney, asked for that work session on December 6th about the opioid. Is that gonna be a short or a long and broad
I
thing?
don't know, because she mentioned about inviting other stakeholders to that work session, and she wanted to know if I wanted to do it or if she wanted to do it, and I said she
You could
would
do it.
most likely know who those stakeholders are, so.
If you get a chance to, when you talk about this, is mentioned to her, is this gonna be sort of a short informal, in other words, tell the board that we're getting $50,000, we want $10,000 to go to enforcement, $20,000 to go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
Something
they're
like
gonna
that,
have
or-
to decide what programs they wanna use, so whether they have already discussed that before they get here, I don't know.
And so in other words, I'm assuming probably the board has to approve that allocation, maybe,
Probably discussing it and just.
and they'll work it out what.
Yeah,
in
I
here.
don't know how all that works out, so I would assume that there has to be some kind of documentation on, well, because you signed that one agreement of, these are the kind of programs you're gonna use,
Yeah.
but, or you can use it on. But I think it's up
Yeah,
to
it
the
doesn't have to-
county and the
Right.
city to decide what programs they're gonna allocate it to.
That doesn't sound like we'd want that work session on the same day that we have this
No,
work
I don't
session.
think
Well, I think when we get your comments back, we're probably gonna need a week or two
Oh,
to get
I
through it.
understand, but we're just talking
Yeah.
about when we do have a work session, I'm sure it'll be a little more lengthy, and this apparently, what I was asking Terry, sounds like there could be a little
Could
more time
possibly.
involved in
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I think it'll probably be
Then
an
you might
hour
think.
long, our next
Yeah, because if you
time we
get,
get together.
the city police department and, I don't know
So like
who
the
all.
13th?
The who?
And I don't know, we can just say, I just wouldn't put it on the 6th, if that's when we're having the,
13th, sound good?
I
That's
don't
the week
think
after.
Thanksgiving in the middle, there's probably enough time to make the 6th happen for this anyway.
probably not.
I think we probably have 13th, or I don't know if we're
Or do
meeting
you
on
wanna
the
do the
20th
Make
or
your
not.
agendas as lightweight
Either
as
one works for
possible.
me.
so-
I mean, I
For
think
the
we'll
rest
kind
of
of think about that time frame, and then maybe when we send out the email, we'll pick a date to get comments back in early December, and then we'll kind of plan on like 13th, 20th
Okay.
time frame maybe to come back.
And snooze, you lose on your comments.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really quick question, Zach, on something specific. I'm just curious, on the last page of, I'm just looking at the solar, under decommission,
Yeah.
it leads in with talking about the, let's see here, the Board of Adjustment shall enter into an agreement with the developer following
Oops.
So it mentions Board of Adjustments, but then below that, it says the board has approved the security bond. I'm assuming,
It's a typo.
That'd be a typo.
Yeah, the Board of
Okay.
Adjustment wouldn't be involved at all.
good enough, I went straight to decommission, cause that's one of my concerns.
No, and all of everything in here would be, yeah, it
Board of
should probably just be
Supervisors?
board.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll be done, I'll read through the rest, I just,
That's where I'm at too on the, but I'm on the wind.
so, well, I was on the solar, but I
That
just,
might have been, I saw a couple little typos like that that
no,
we need
no
to
big
clean
deal,
up.
I
so.
just wanted to
Weird,
ask.
this one has
Good.
supervisors, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I'll look through it sometime, when I can't sleep.
This may put you to sleep.
Yes,
Yeah.
very possibly.
Well, I gotta be upfront with you, any ordinance for wind or solar, there's gotta be money put up where it's never gonna cost Des Moines County taxpayers to take these things down.
That's why I went there.
To the decommissioning.
Yeah, that's where I went first.
So,
I'll go through it.
no way I'd ever put them to that. I'm talking about 10 years, 15 years from now.
Yep.
So, that's gotta be ironclad.
Alright, any
I
other
don't know
questions
these
for
guys.
us, we'll get, an email out too, and maybe we'll pick a specific date for comments to come back.
Sounds good.
But that's all we got for today.
Okay,
Things are still moving.
Thank you.
go back and retype.
Uh-huh.
Thank
We
you,
turn it over to
Brian.
Brian.
You gonna stick around for Brian?
What's that?
Aren't you gonna stick around for Brian's work
Yeah,
session?
just
Everybody
ran
always
out of here.
leaves.
Jeez.
So, I mean, I can if you want.
Zach's already insulted everybody else, I guess.
No need to insult you.
Zach come in with his insults.
Darn.
I just got them in my pocket, just ready to go. Mike did get back to me, by the way, December 8th.
Did he just wake
I
up?
did. He didn't say.
Okay.
I think that's when it is, December the 8th.
What's that?
Our meeting with Region.
Good luck.
Oh,
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks, Terry.
guys have a good one.
You too,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're through.
Are we ready?
Be closing that work session, opening mine. I need like 5 minutes. I
Okay,
just wanna
go.
get you up to date on project stuff.
Okay, we're here with the workstation with Brian Carter, Secondary Roads. We'll
Okay.
turn it over to you, Brian.
So we've all talked inflation, everything else. We just had that bid opening, last week for the paving project on Bridgeport, which I'll put a contract, or Becky's already got a contract together, but I'm gonna be gone next week. So Becky will be here, but we'll run it through the week after, whenever the contractor comes around to sign it. But I wanted to give you a kind of a picture. I've heard you talk a lot with maintenance about projects going forward, and just to kind of prepare you. Way back when I created the construction program, so that's probably been at this point over a year ago, roughly, you know, for this year's, or I started working on it. And when I put my estimates together, I tend to be high on those estimates, just because mine are rough estimates. So I put 1.2 million in new construction for this project,
For the one you just,
for the Bridgeport
Bridgeport, yeah.
paving project. And like I said, that estimate was probably created last winter, working into, and I'm sure on the front end, it was high at that time anyway. So what we do in-house is we continue to, well, once we get to a biddable or close to biddable set of plans, we create our own in-house full detailed engineering estimate. And we, especially when the prices are fluctuating as much as they are, we try to update that regularly, so we have an idea where things are at. And it's big for me because of the budget side of it, because as you guys know, I gotta cut back somewhere if we go over somewhere else. Well, so Devin had an engineering estimate on this one, of a 1.484 million. And, that was just us taking as current prices as we could, and then throwing some additional inflation in, because we hadn't seen anything stop yet. We had 2 bidders, and I'm good two bidders. We had Jones Contracting was the low bidder, and Iowa Civil has started to bid our stuff, which is great. They haven't ever been a low bidder, so we've never worked with them, but it gives somebody to have competition. The low bidder came in at 1.395, so they came in under our kind of, I'd call, high-end engineer's estimate. But the real picture is the 1.2.
We're still 15% over the,
Compared to that, and I just wanted to give you guys an idea, because as you move into the public health building, and I know you're still waiting on figures, and then again, I know maintenance has all sorts of plans on concrete and everything else, and I mean, that's what this is a paving job. The quarry is literally sitting at the project, so when you start talking about the rock we're gonna put under the paving, you can't get cheaper than whatever that is, because it's right there. So just wanted to kind of bring it up, because I don't show that side of the business to you guys very often. I know you hear, and everybody hears the word inflation constantly, but I don't think it can be understated how much higher things are from what they were even a year ago, much less 2 years ago. So what we will do is I'll run the contract through. This is a priority project for us. That mile north of that quarry, it's 1/10 of a mile actually, takes a beating, and we've got to get that thing swapped out. So I'll scale back in my construction program. Something will get stripped out, and I'll communicate with you guys when we get there. I just wanted you to kind of realize where things are going as far as spending power, so we will run a contract through for that coming up here in a couple weeks, and that'll be a next spring, early spring project. So in that vein, I have talked to you guys in the past. We've got those 3 remaining outlying
what was
shops.
the second bid?
It was just a shade underneath. Sorry, Tom, I meant to give you that, and then I blew past it. It was. Nope, this one was under, it was 1.482. So it was just a shade under our estimate. In
Where are
fact,
they
it
out
was
of?
2,000. They are out of Victor.
Where's
Victor,
that?
Iowa. Good question. I don't know.
What is it?
Victor, Iowa?
It's Iowa Civil Contracting out of
Victor,
Victor.
Iowa, that's up off of Interstate 80, up by, isn't it up by,
Doesn't ring
what's
a
that
bell.
shopping mall on there? Williamsburg.
Oh,
isn't it
Williamsburg?
north- Isn't it
West
up north of there, northwest? of
West
there?
of Iowa City,
Which one?
Must be.
Vienna.
Colin's looking for it.
I guess that doesn't ring a bell for me.
I think it's off of,
It's kind of smack between Iowa City and Des Moines, like west of Iowa City.
where
east of
Williamsburg's in that
Yeah.
area, yeah.
Just northeast of, or northwest area.
Close to 80.
Yeah, not too far off, it's.
Yeah, north of 80.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're thrilled to have them bid, but give you an idea. And then I wanted to mention too, so we've talked for years about, we got 3 more shops we just gotta start pecking away at, our outlying small shops. This isn't big stuff. And I talked to you guys last budget season about possibly putting a chunk of that in coming up, but we were still waiting on our Iowa City shop to get through the finishing stages. So it did finish out. So as I start working on the front end of budget, I'm a little concerned about where costs have gone, plain and simple, for doing 3 of those. Originally, I don't think it would have been a problem. So what I'm gonna look at doing is just working on one of them to start with. We've been working in the office on all 3, but as far as a bid package, I'm gonna work on one of them. I don't have the money in this year's budget right now, but when I start working on my front end budget, if I feel like I can set aside enough money to build one of those shops, I want to just plant the thought in your brain. I may come back to you and say, do you have any issue with me getting this bid together, getting the bid out the door? And if the contractors doesn't start until summer, it'll be in the budget come July 1st. If the contractor starts earlier, because we'll give them that flexibility, we'll do a budget amendment if any payments would be due. If they start in June, we won't pay anything till July anyway. So, and all this contends on me making sure I have the money to do it, because Becky's already started working on looking at our overages from fuel and all that sort of stuff to figure out where we're sitting, what I need to do to make sure we're whole in the areas we have to be whole in. And maybe I come back to you at budget time and say the shop's just not a reality right now with where we're at financially, so.
Have you seen any of those numbers yet from Becky?
No, she just started working on
I'm
this
curious
week.
on what that.
Yeah, I'll have all that stuff for you guys. Actually, she wouldn't normally start working on budget quite this early, and I asked her to start in on it, just so I can start working on covering some of the over stuff. That's all she's working on right now. So anyway, I wanted to plant that seed of thought in your head that I don't anticipate, if I can afford it, we won't budget for it until July. But if I feel like I can afford it, we'll need to get that bid out this spring for this season's construction, and we'll just play it by ear if that all happens. I won't do anything without you knowing officially, but I wanted to just mention it to you that that's something we're looking at. And I think we'll scale back to one, see what that cost is. The other two are both north of Burlington and fairly close proximity to each other, so we'll do one, get the idea of costs, and then maybe the following fiscal year, we can pair the other two together and maybe get a better scale bid or whatever you wanna call it, but I think I've talked my way out of 3 of them altogether. I think that's probably still our most economic way, but I'm not sure I wanna spend that much money all at once on shop buildings, so.
Brian, you talked about inflation at cement, what's it, about $160 a yard now?
I'm not so sure you wouldn't be pushing 200 now.
Is that right?
I'd have to double check because we don't buy a lot of straight yards of concrete. In most of, like, when I see concrete price, it's rolling through on a daily bill where they did a patch for us.
Yeah.
So I would have to double check, but I believe you're probably talking more like 180 or 180 plus, depending on what you have in it. On top of that, we were given notice when we bid this project, we got a call from one of the contractors and they said, so in normal concrete, you can use up to 15 or 20% fly ash to offset the amount of cement, which is, fly ash is cheaper normally. Well, because of our current administration's push to dump power plants, that's where your fly ash comes from. It's a byproduct from the energy industry. So the irony of that whole thing is it's pushing us back to full cement, which honestly is probably a better product. I mean, we've used fly ash in every load of concrete since the day I've walked in. I mean, that's kind of standard operating procedure, except for really cold weather. But now they can't, there is fly ash, but they have no guarantees they'll have their hands on it. So they can't bid fly ash as a lower price because they don't know if they'll have it. So.
How much cheaper does the fly ash make that?
I will be able to tell you that if we end up doing it. We've not done concrete without fly ash, and I don't know, I looked at the bid tabs when we took bids. I haven't spent any time on the bid tabs, so
A big project, look at it.
I don't know exactly, because it would be a percentage of a percentage of a percentage. It's not a straight number in the price of concrete, because you've also got your rock, your water, all that stuff to make it up, so. So anyway, I don't want to take up much time. I thought I'd just kind of give you a large-scale picture of just how much things are continuing to cost. I do know that Lee County, I believe, bid a bridge, and they actually saw prices kind of level out and almost come a little bit backwards on a bridge. So that's a good, level's better than continuing to go up. I don't know if that will hold. I don't know what their bid situation was. I don't know what their contractor was and all that sort of stuff, but they did mention that on a bridge project. But I don't think that's being seen anywhere as far as asphalt or concrete, as far as paving stuff. So time will tell.
I know one thing, your diesel, you got all that diesel out there you have to run. Pump price will come down on diesel a little bit. Not much, but like 20 cents a gallon.
And we buy,
It helps, but
we just get them by the tanker, and I used to try, long time ago, I used to try to play the game of guessing when I could buy cheaper kind of a thing, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and anymore we just call Rife and say fill us up.
you don't use biodiesel, I hope.
No, oh no.
Good.
No, most of the biodiesel won't work for our warranties anymore. I mean, we ran into some of the warranties, especially on the new motor graders. We actually were using Ruby Red through Rife for quite a while, because what we ran into was we had that really cold winter back in the late, like 8, 9, 10, I don't remember what year it was, maybe I'm even earlier, it's later than that, but, and we had already quit bio, we were using bio in the summer, and then we switched to regular in the winter, and we were gelling up again, still. Well, what we come to find out is that at that time, the fuel industry standards were as long as their bio content was under a certain percentage, they didn't have to report it having bio.
Oh.
So we were gelling up everything. Farmers were having the same problem because it still had bio in it, but because it was under percentage, it wasn't reported as having bio. So we went to Ruby Red because Ruby Red was guaranteed no bio. And that did really well for us, but then again, we ran into problems with some of we were setting off some computers in our newer equipment. And the industry mechanic felt like it was a fuel-related issue, so we actually went yet another step beyond Ruby Red to get to a little higher quality fuel to keep from setting sensors off within our equipment. So fuel is certainly a topic that we've had to deal with. We do not have bio. We don't use bio summer or winter, period. So, which is unfortunate because obviously it's, anything like that's good for the industry, but as far as we have ag in our, but
That's not good on the equipment.
that's the iron in me. The federal government pushes the emissions, they push all this sort of stuff, and then it pushes away from things. Or like the fly ash thing, you get rid of that, you get rid of fly ash. Well, now you're doing cement. Cement's what it's one of those products they want you to, I don't know, it's kind of all a joke to me. They go in a circle trying to act like they're hugging a tree, in my opinion. So, anyway, that's all I had. I just wanted to kind of give you an update on stuff. I'll run the contract through for that paving job, and I'll be sitting down and figuring out where I'm gonna scale back a little bit to offset that on my budget side of it, but we'll make it work. But it will be less spending power. That is reality these days.
Appreciate that, Brian.
Thank you,
Brian. Keep it simple.